Welcome to Daily Gossip. You will get daily political, celebrity, and cultural updates here. Remember to subscribe for the latest videos. Today, we dive into a story that is stirring up controversy across American political and podcast circles. The always unfiltered comedian and podcast host, Andrew Schulz, has publicly accused Vice President Kamala Harris of blatantly lying and dodging his podcast interview. This explosive revelation has sparked heated debates online about media transparency, political media strategies, and whether the vice president is avoiding unscripted public appearances ahead of the upcoming election cycle. In this special 3,500-word analysis, we reveal everything behind this shocking accusation, fan reactions, and the political strategy implications dominating headlines. Let's begin with what actually happened. Andrew Schulz, comedian, actor, and host of the popular podcast Flagrant, recently told his audience that Kamala Harris's team agreed to have her appear on his show, but then completely backed out at the last minute. In his words, they blatantly lied. They said, yes, they were gonna come on, then all of a sudden, they ghosted. Schulz expressed his frustration, adding that politicians often want to control the narrative and don't want to be challenged in real conversation. This statement triggered instant social media reactions, with Schulz's fans supporting him, saying she can't handle real questions without handlers. Critics, however, defended Harris, pointing out that sitting vice presidents rarely appear on comedy podcasts due to strict media protocols and security considerations. The controversy intensified when clips from Schulz's podcast went viral on TikTok, racking up millions of views under hashtags like hashtag Andrew Schulz, hashtag KAMALA Harris, and hashtag Flagrant Podcast. To understand why this is such a big deal, let's look at the broader context. Kamala Harris is currently facing growing criticism over her public communication style. Analysts note that while she delivers powerful, scripted speeches, she appears hesitant to engage in unscripted interviews or challenging forums where she might face unexpected questions. Schulz's podcast, known for its comedic yet direct interview style, would have exposed her to humorous but potentially uncomfortable questions about administration policies, re-election plans, and her personal journey. Insiders from the podcast industry explained to Daily Gossip that bookings for political figures often involve weeks of negotiations, with final approval coming only after a careful vetting of the host's prior content, brand, reputation, and audience demographics. In Schulz's case, his edgy humor, often touching on politics, race, and societal hypocrisy, might have raised red flags for the vice president's communication team, who feared losing narrative control. However, Schulz claims that her team had agreed initially and then ghosted without explanation, suggesting an internal change of heart. Political strategists speculate this decision reflects a larger media strategy from the Biden-Harris campaign team, which prioritizes appearances on mainstream news outlets. Late-night TV shows with scripted questions and friendly forums targeting their base. Critics argue this approach alienates swing voters and younger demographics who prefer authentic, unscripted conversations with influencers and podcasters they trust. On Twitter, reactions have been polarized. Supporters of Schulz say she dodged because she can't answer real questions without PR coaching. Others argue she's the vice president. There are national security concerns and diplomatic protocols. Stop acting like a comedian deserves priority over official duties. Meanwhile, neutral political observers believe this story reveals how comedians and podcasters are becoming more influential than traditional journalists, forcing politicians to rethink how they connect with diverse voters in an era of decentralized media. For Andrew Schulz, this saga has elevated his brand as a truth-teller, unafraid to challenge establishment figures. Known for his fearless stand-up specials and controversial takes, Schulz thrives on exposing what he sees as hypocrisy, censorship, and controlled narratives. This controversy is already giving him millions of additional views, new subscribers, and increased credibility as an interviewer who asks what mainstream media won't. Some communication experts believe that if Kamala Harris had appeared on his podcast, she could have softened her public image, connecting with Schulz's large Gen Z and Millennial male audience who often feel ignored by traditional political messaging. Podcasts like Flagrant are where a huge portion of young voters get their news, jokes, and worldview. Ignoring them only widens the perception gap, one strategist explained to us. Meanwhile, sources inside Democratic campaign circles insist that Harris's team is reevaluating their media approach ahead of the 2024 general election, weighing the risks of tough interviews against the rewards of appearing more relatable and confident. With President Biden's approval ratings fluctuating and Harris's own image under intense scrutiny, every media choice is carefully calculated to maximize voter connection while minimizing potential gaffes. This isn't the first time a political figure has been accused of dodging unscripted podcasts. In recent months, multiple influential podcasters, including Joe Rogan and Logan Paul, have revealed that prominent politicians declined their interview requests. Critics argue that refusing these platforms indicates fear of real conversation, while defenders claim that structured interviews maintain message clarity and prevent viral misinterpretations. For Kamala Harris, this controversy adds another layer to her complex public image. As America's first female vice president of color, she has faced extraordinary levels of scrutiny, racism, and sexism, alongside genuine concerns about her communication, effectiveness, and policy impact. Her team's decision to avoid Schulz's podcast may be strategic, but it also risks reinforcing criticisms that she is inaccessible to independent and younger media voices. In the coming weeks, political insiders expect Harris to ramp up her public engagements, possibly appearing on high-profile talk shows or controlled podcasts with pre-approved scripts to rebuild relatability. As for Andrew Schulz, his fans are demanding he continue exposing guests who decline his show, further solidifying his brand as a fearless and authentic cultural commentator. This story is not just about comedy or politics. It is about media, power, generational divides, and the shifting rules of public communication in a world where podcasts often influence public opinion more than traditional news. It shows that trust is no longer placed in institutions alone, but in the authentic, unedited voices that people choose to follow. Stay tuned to Daily Gossip for every hidden truth behind political headlines, celebrity controversies, and cultural stories shaping your world today. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for exclusive updates that go beyond the script and expose the raw reality behind every powerful decision. Ask ChatGPT.